Totally. There's just, you guys know this too, every crowd is a little bit different depending on what part of the United States you're in.
Yeah, I always thought, I love Pat McAfee, and when he gets up on the table that first time, the problem with that is if it doesn't work, you got to climb off the table with your
Yeah,
tail between your legs. You try stuff, and it worked. It worked. He's out there playing his guitar, with Ezekiel and all that stuff, and it worked like crazy. But I've done a lot of stuff like that and I told Pat after that, I said, the great thing about that was what a risk you took. You got something great, but if it doesn't work, you literally got to climb off the table. You're like, damn it, man. You know,
yes,
and so you just got to try a million different things. And sometimes it's just as valuable what doesn't work as what works because you put that in the bag too, right? I mean, that also is part of the whole learning experience.
totally. There's just, you guys know this too, every crowd is a little bit different depending on what part of the United States you're in. One of my favorite parts about the house shows was being able to do things that I knew that would work in one city versus another that's on the opposite side of the coast. Some audiences are different. Some audiences like a little bit more Shakespeare. They like a little bit more Gaga. They like a little bit more chit chatter, and they want to be berated between the big cutoffs in the ring and stuff like that. A little bit of jaw jacking right before you give it back to the baby face. For that hope, you kind of prime them up a little bit. But some don't. Some want the action. Some want the high spot after high spot, and they want to get into a hard finish. Um, so I agree with you completely. Every crowd's a little different, and yeah, where it might not work in one place, it could work in another for sure.